What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive on the health regeneration rates in Black Ops 6, mainly because there are so many different ways you can improve your health regeneration in this game, far more than any other Call of Duty game that I can remember at least. And they each have their own unique characteristics that I want to look at, and I also wanted to see whether or not these stack together. So without further ado, let's dive into it, and we're going to start this off with our baseline. If we're not using anything to improve health regeneration, from the last time you took damage, it's going to take you a total of 3.5 seconds just to start the healing process, and then from there, we heal at a rate of about 40 HP per second. So this means if you were to take 90 damage, I'm going to use that as a nice round number that signifies taking a lot of damage. Without anything helping you heal faster, it's going to take you a total of 5.75 seconds. Which for the Call of Duty franchise, that's not really out of the ordinary, and if anything, it's a little bit on the faster side for Call of Duty. And that is a common misconception. I think that's just due to the pacing of this game and how cramped the maps are. It can feel like it takes forever because your next gunfight is happening so quickly relative to many older Call of Duty games. So that's our baseline. Now let's start getting into the items that will improve our health regeneration, and we're going to go in order from least effective to most effective overall. And the next best thing compared to the base heal rate is the Guardian perk. This is a tier 3 green perk that triggers your health regeneration when you're on an objective. And with this one, assuming you are on the objective, which I will cover more of the details in just a little bit, I want to get the numbers out first. If you are on the objective with this perk, your healing delay is now just 1.1 seconds. That's a very noticeable improvement from the 3.5 second base healing delay. However, it turns out our healing rate is unchanged. It's still 40 HP per second, and this means our total heal time when taking 90 damage is 3.35 seconds. So roughly 2.5 seconds faster than the base heal rate, which is a very notable improvement, and this can definitely be a big lifesaver while playing the objective. And a few more details on that. This will work if you're capturing an enemy objective or a neutral objective. It works if you're just standing on your own objective that you already hold. It also works if you're standing on a contested objective in domination, hardpoint, and control. It also works if you're planting or defusing a bomb in search and destroy, and outside of that, it doesn't really seem to be doing anything. Unfortunately, in kill confirmed, picking up a tag, whether that's a red tag or a blue tag, will not trigger health regeneration with Guardian. Obviously, team deathmatch free-for-all, it's not doing anything for you there since there's no objective in that. And also, I did test kill order, and even if you are the high-value target, it will not trigger your health regeneration any faster. So mainly just domination, hardpoint, search and destroy, control, oh, and headquarters as well. It will work on headquarters. And one last thing I want to point out here is if you're not on the objective while taking damage and you're using Guardian, but after taking damage, you move on to the objective and you touch it, at that point, it will immediately trigger your health regeneration. So you don't have to be actively on the point at the time of taking damage. So that's the Guardian perk out of the way. Now let's move on to the next one on the list, and this is the Warcry field upgrade. Now with this one, I did do a full breakdown video, so this is just a recap of this, just focusing on the health regeneration benefits. There are other benefits I outlined in that video. But with this, it not only works for you, but at the moment of activation, any teammate that's within a 38-meter radius of you will also get these exact same effects. And with this, as long as Warcry is active, your delay before you start healing is just 1.5 seconds. And with this one, it's not like you have to be on an objective or anything like that, so that's a nice benefit. However, more importantly, our healing rate with Warcry is about 240 HP per second. That is insanely fast, and therefore when you start healing, you heal up almost instantly from there. And this means our total healing time from taking 90 damage is just 1.88 seconds. And that is a very, very fast healing time in Call of Duty. So definitely a great option for improving your health regeneration and the health regeneration of your teammates. However, this effect only lasts for 15 seconds total. After that, let's get back into the perks, and this time we have Bruiser, which is a tier 2 red perk. And with this one, when you get a melee or combat axe kill, it will almost immediately trigger your health regeneration. And based on my testing, it appears your healing rate is very slightly faster than the base healing rate at 50 HP per second rather than 40 HP per second. Now with this, it works for combat axe kills, it works for melee weapon kills, and it also works if you just get a melee kill with like the butt of your gun, for instance, it will also trigger Bruiser. However, unfortunately, I found an issue with this where it's not working all the time. What I found is if you get that melee kill too quickly after taking damage, it won't actually trigger the faster health regeneration, even though it will show up as a Bruiser kill. Now, the threshold on this is difficult to hand test properly, but it appears to be roughly half a second. If you get that melee kill less than half a second after taking damage, you just get the standard heal rate. Whereas if you wait for at least half a second after taking damage and get that melee kill, then it will trigger Bruiser's health regeneration properly, and you'll now be healing in about 1.88 seconds from the moment the kill is registered. Not from the moment you took damage, of course, because this doesn't trigger until you get a kill. So that's really unfortunate that this doesn't work super consistently. And you may notice some bugged out behavior with Bruiser where you're getting melee kills, but you're not healing any faster, and it's because you got that kill too close to the time where you took damage. But then moving on, let's talk about the Enforcer combat specialty. This is the next one on the list. And with this one, as long as you're using 3 red perks to get Enforcer, every time you get a kill, it will trigger that health regeneration 1 second after you get the kill, and it will boost your healing rate up to 200 HP per second, which means our total healing time at 90 damage from the moment that kill is registered is going to be just 1.45 seconds. That is very, very quick. However, there are a few key things to point out here with Enforcer. The first thing I was a bit surprised to see is this only works for kills, not assists. So it's not every elimination you get, it's only the actual kills that you get where you are the one that dealt the last damage. And on top of this, I was also surprised to find that equipment kills don't count. They don't activate Enforcer. It appears you have to actually be killing them with your gun. And with that one done, let's move on to the final one that I tested today, and this is the Stim shot equipment, which is in the tactical slot, of course. And with this, the animation to activate Stim from the moment you press the button to the moment it starts the healing process is just 550 milliseconds, and this doesn't appear to be changing at all depending on the gun that's in your hand. I tried it with an SMG as well as an LMG. It took the same amount of time. And also, even with the strategist combat specialty, which is meant to improve your ability to deploy equipment, it doesn't apply to the Stim shot. The Stim shot's animation time seems to be fixed no matter what at 550 milliseconds, which isn't really a bad thing. That's a very fast time. And as soon as that animation is finished, you start the healing process, and then we heal at about 150 HP per second, which means our total healing time with 90 damage taken is just 1.15 seconds from the moment you press the button. Not from the moment you actually stab yourself with the Stim shot, but from the moment you press the button to activate it, which is very impressive, and as far as I can tell, the fastest method of healing in Black Ops 6. And in saying that, you're probably wondering, well, can't you stack this with other things? And what I did is I actually tested all of the different combinations that were viable to test with all of these different faster healing methods. And what I found here is there's really no insane stacking ability with these, where you can get like a literal instant healing time. But in some cases, if you're using a combination, you will get the best of both worlds. So just an example here, if I'm using Guardian and Warcry, and I take damage while on the objective and Warcry is active, I will get the faster healing delay that Guardian offers at 1.1 seconds, instead of having to wait 1.5 seconds, and then I'll get the faster healing rate of Warcry at 240 HP per second. So I will heal up very slightly faster than if I were just using Warcry in that situation, but not by a large margin, not to the point where I would actively be trying to stack these benefits in game, because in that case, we're looking at like a 400 millisecond difference and stacking it so the situation lines up just right. That's not something you can generally control on a regular basis anyway. So when it comes to stacking, I would say just don't really worry about it, because if you are going to see any benefit, which most of the time you won't see any benefits, it's going to make such a minor difference that it's just not worth using so many different things on your class setups trying to stack this in your favor. Now, one last thing I wanted to address here is hardcore game modes. And before I share my results, I do want to point out that oftentimes the custom game setting of hardcore doesn't align with what you experience in public matches for hardcore. I don't know why that is exactly, but this has been happening for years now, and it's one of the reasons I don't do nearly as much proper testing for hardcore modes, because what you see in custom games often doesn't align with what you see in real games for hardcore. But with that in mind, I did try to do some testing with this, and it turns out the only one of these items that will actually allow you to heal in hardcore game modes is the Stim shot. None of the others will allow you to heal at all, based on my private match testing at least. Which typically isn't going to make that much of a difference anyway, because most of the time, if you're getting shot, it doesn't matter if you're hurt or not, because it's going to be a one-shot kill anyway. But of course, there may be some situations where it would be valuable to get healed between fights, for instance. And there we go. That's finally going to wrap it up today's video on all of the methods of improving your health regeneration in Black Ops 6. And with that, this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. First off, how do you feel about the fact that we have so many different methods this year of improving our health regeneration? And second, which one of these, if any, is your go-to? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.